Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. If you saw last week's video, you saw my adventure around Berlin and all the places it took me. And for this week's video, I'm very lucky to be joined by the lovely Nancho. So we're going to be exploring Berlin from two perspectives, me with fresh eyes and Nancho from a more familiar perspective. So yeah, I'll let Nancho introduce herself.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited that I could join you for a walk. Thank you for that. My name is Nancho and I'm a street and portrait and now also a wedding photographer. I'm living in Berlin for more than 8 years now, so it feels super crazy when I say it out loud. And even though I've seen these places so many times and it's a familiar surrounding for me, I'm still very excited for this for a walk, mainly because to see if I can bring some new and fresh perspectives too and rediscover this city together with you. So I'm very excited.
I think it'll be very interesting to see our creative perspectives and the way we see things and what we're drawn to. So yeah, I believe we're going to go on a photo walk and explore Museum Island today.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm super excited.
Me too.
So yeah, let's go.
Let's go. Let's get started.
Okay, so before we even get started, what gear are you using today, Nancho?
Yeah, I'm having my Canon R6 with me with 24 to 70mm lens. It's so heavy to carry it around me, but unfortunately or fortunately, that's the only gear I have beside my film cameras. And as we decided that we should digital today, that's what I brought with me.
Yeah. So Nancho also shoots film, which her work is amazing. I'd love to experiment with film, but yeah, I'm shooting with the Fujifilm X-T5, and I've got one lens. I've got the 23mm.
And that's cool.
Yeah, it's quite new to me, but I've been using nothing but this in Berlin so far because I like the perspective, how you can get your subject but in context of where we are. So that's my challenge to myself, I guess, is kind of shooting with one lens, so we'll see.
That's actually super smart, because I think sometimes challenging yourself is really good way to be creative, because with my zoom lens sometimes I even get lazy to move around because you can just zoom in and zoom out, so and it's also so much easier to carry it around with you. Definitely.
It makes it quite lightweight, a nice little setup to use. So yeah, okay, cool, let's go see.
Yeah, let's see what we find today.
That guy with his bike, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay,
are you gonna ask him for permission?
he's on the phone, so
it's hard to ask.
Yeah, and that's a good point actually. When it comes to photographing people, I kind of like the natural moment. So you don't want to ask, but then if they see you, do you ask?
Yeah, like I have very difficult relationship with asking or not asking, because I'm also the same. I love taking raw moments without interrupting them, because I think once you ask, then that moment is just gone and it's not the same. But also if you want to take a portrait photo, then it kind of makes sense to ask them. And
I feel like at that point it's more intentional, isn't it?
It's more intentional, exactly. But generally I would say I'm more on a capture the moment side.
Yes. So like in that moment, then it's more more discreet, and I just got an actual photograph, but it's more not up close, it's more the context of the subject in that space. So Nancho, would you more go and look for a moment, or would you stand and wait for something to unfold?
I have to say I'm someone who has little patience, so mostly I move around, and if something comes my way, then I capture it, or I search intentionally for moments, but I rarely just stand and wait, which actually is a bit sad, because sometimes I think the more you stand in one place, more invisible you become as a photographer, and it's a nice place to be when you want to capture raw moments. But mostly I move around, I have to say. But right now I decided to stay here because I just saw many birds flying here around, and I thought it could be really nice shot. So maybe I'll wait for a minute to see if those birds come back, and if not, then we'll go somewhere else.
Okay, let's see.
Doesn't look like that right now. Yeah, I think now we can continue walking because nothing's really happening. But I fear that we'll walk away and then birds are gonna start flying. That's always how it happens.
I feel like that's always the way. Like you're waiting for something to happen, it doesn't happen, and then you go to walk away and
then it happens.
So yeah, we'll probably walk away now.
Yeah.
But,
and those birds better don't show up.
Okay, let's move on. Did you get the birds, Nancho?
I think so. Yeah, I think one disadvantage of having this camera with me while taking photos of the street and people is that it's so big that people see you right away when you try to take a photo of them, and it feels more weird and awkward because when I'm out with my film camera, it's Canon A1 and it's way smaller and it feels more insecure, and it feels like easier to take photos of people, especially of those raw moments, because they don't see you right away.
Yeah, I guess that's the idea, isn't it? That you want to capture like those natural moments.
Yeah.
Without someone like seeing you.
Yeah, be more invisible.
Yeah.
Kinda,
I always find like if I'm set up for a shot and I want someone to walk through, if they've noticed me, then they stop and they won't walk through because they think, you know, they're being polite and they're doing me a favor, but I want them to walk through.
Exactly. Or they just don't want you to take a photo of them, which is also
which is fair
legit.
enough.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, to have those feelings, especially in Berlin. I think people don't really like to be photographed.
this is interesting. This is a really good point actually, because I read that Germans don't really like to be photographed, and I found a few people looking at me a bit strangely. So is this a thing?
Yeah, it's a thing. So it's a good that they just looked at you and they didn't come and got mad at you or something. I think. Because I also have not had really bad experience with that, to be honest, but in most cases it feels like you're doing wrong thing when you are taking photos of them, which I can understand. It's not like I criticize it, but I think as a street photographer you want that freedom to be out there and to be able to capture moments without being in fear. Like, I don't know, like maybe somewhere in New York it feels more natural to be outside with a camera. Even in Georgia I think people are very okay with being photographed, but in Germany it's definitely a bit of different experience. But I think if you're nice and kind, and if someone asks you why you did what you did and you explain it, and if they don't want you to use that photo and you promise them that you're not gonna do that, I think that's in most cases then it's fine.
Yeah, I think it's similar in the UK. I think most people are okay in the UK, but I've had that odd person say to me, well, what are you going to do with that photo? And like, in a way it's nice because it sparks conversation, and you know, once you've answered that question, they're normally okay.
And also maybe towards him, so I also get some light, nice. Sorry for switching from German to English all the time. It's perfect.
Okay, so yeah, we just went and bumped into a couple of cool people. Nancho was really brave and asked whether we could take their portraits, which was really nice. So yeah, it was a really good interaction, and it's really interesting to see how we could both photograph that in different ways as well.
Yeah, because you have only 35mm with you, right? And I think I took a photo with 50 or 70mm. I have to check it later. And with that, you get a bit of better depth of field, I feel, and you kind of see people and connect with them a bit more on the photo. So, but I also feel that it's also cool for a street photography, that lens. I really like that. But with portraits, maybe 50 or 70 works a bit better.
I feel like your shot was probably better because you've got a closer perspective as well as a depth of field, and then this lens is better for like that wider context, but not necessarily for the portraits. So yeah, it's really interesting just to see how that kind of conveyed in photographs.
Yeah, for sure.
So Nancho, I wonder, what got you into photography in the first place?
It was actually the camera my husband gifted to me on a Christmas. It was a film camera, and by by that time I didn't even know what was ISO or aperture, like really nothing.
Yeah.
But when I went outside with this camera and I started taking photos, it was making me so happy, and slowly I understood that it was also something that was making me happy when I was a teenager, because I loved taking photos with like camera my best friend had actually by that time. And yeah, I realized that it makes me happy, so maybe it's something I should try do more often.
Yeah,
And
that's
the more
nice.
often I did it, the happier I got. So that's how I found out that maybe photography is the thing I should do for
That's
life.
so nice, yeah. And I think photography has this gift of like just finding joy in even the tiniest of things to go out and take photos
For
of.
sure.
Yeah.
And you?
Yeah, so I had a really small like little film camera when I was a child. It wasn't anything good. It was like a real basic little plastic film camera. But yeah, I used to take photos of my family and like days out. And I remember sending off the film and like waiting for it to come back and the excitement.
That's the best feeling, yeah.
Yeah, and they were mostly blurry, but I've still got some of those photos of like my family. And yeah, so I remember that joy way back then, and then like as I grew up it kind of like dropped away. I like taking photos with like phones and stuff when that became a thing, but I got my first like proper camera. My wife gave it to me for my birthday when I was like 30. So without guessing my age, yeah, so it was like 12 or so years ago where I just didn't understand the settings at all, and I shot in auto for ages.
Okay.
Or I would just leave my camera at home and carry on with my phone because I didn't understand it. And I think until you understand what you can do with it and see the full benefit. But yeah, as soon as I went out, and I remember taking photos of like my first sunrise and being like, wow, I can actually like capture the magic like through my lens. And yeah, then I just like really started learning, and like you say, just going out in nature, just taking photos of things that you just
that
found
makes you
like
happy.
this joy from taking photos. So
Yeah, it was. Yeah, we had pretty similar experiences, I would say. Like wives and husbands making a big difference in our
I
lives.
know. So massive thanks to both of you if you're watching. You've changed our lives. So we've spotted a window with some really cool reflections, so yeah, let's see what we can capture here. So the reflections in the window didn't quite work for us, but yeah, now we're seeing whether we can get some shots through the car window, which yeah, should be quite an interesting framing composition. Down into this part of this building. There's some really nice shafts of light coming through every now and then, but there's nobody like interesting walking through, so it's really hard to frame up a shot. And yeah, we've just had the conversation where I think it's an important reminder that you don't get great photos on every single photo walk or every single trip out. So yeah, really important reminder that you shouldn't put pressure on yourself and just be open to what unfolds in front of you. And it doesn't mean you're going to get banger shots every single time.
Yeah, I think for me it's always easier to go outside without any expectations, so you don't feel frustrated when you come back, because going outside and taking photos is not about taking banger photos all the time, but more about experiencing the culture, the vibe, the city, people, and also exercising to get better in photography.
Yes, so well said, Nancho. Like, it's all about being outside, it's all about the experience, it's all about the doing, and that's how you learn as well. I think that's how you get better at taking photos, is by just going out and doing that. So yeah, every outing has its own importance, even if you don't come home with incredible photos, is basically, I think, what we're trying to say.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So Nancho, I wondered, like, what's your processing workflow? So when you get home, like, what do you use? How much editing do you use? Or do you like to keep it natural? Yeah, what's your process?
So with digital photos, I always edit them in Lightroom. Mostly I go through the photos, I choose which ones to edit, and then I do the editing. And depending on the photo, sometimes I keep things natural, sometimes I add a little bit more maybe grain or shadows, or like make sky a little bit dramatic, like depending on the photo and the weather, of course. But I do love editing. I enjoy it a lot. I think photographing in RAW is so much joy, because then you kind of get to create that picture one more time when you are at the laptop sitting and editing. So I do that. But with film photos, I obviously wait for the lab, and if there's something I want to change slightly, because every lab has different scanning method and so on, maybe I'll do that. But mostly I keep things quite closer to the scan I receive.
Nice. Yeah, so I shoot purely digital, so everything I shoot is kind of in RAW. And then I don't enjoy the process of editing, because I prefer being out taking the photos. But I do enjoy then seeing what you can do with it, and kind of like bringing out all the colours, or bringing out like textures, or seeing what you can see in that photograph, you know, whether that looks better in black and white, or whether that looks nicer with more of a filmic feel, or it all depends on the subject, doesn't it? Like,
I think that too.
And the light, and it depends what you want to get out of that file. But I think that's,
and also your mood that day on the editing day, because I think sometimes I feel more warm and more like dramatic or something, and some days I feel more like soft, and but I tend to edit more soft than dramatic, I have to say that too.
I think mine has gone down that route a little bit more now, like, but our style changes over time, doesn't it? Like I used to edit very differently than how I edit now. I'd probably say I do keep things a bit more natural, but it depends, doesn't it? Depends how you feel at the time, what the photo is. Like
I think the same.
A good photo?
There are some parts of me where I think that it's nice if photo is technically good or correct, but it can be also such a broad term and a little bit abstract definition for me. So I think the photos I like the most is mostly emotionally driven. So what I feel from the picture, what I think about it, how does it make me feel, does it make me inspired, motivated, sad, whatever emotion it is, actually I really like to feel something from it. And if it's not technically correct or like perfect in a sense, I totally don't mind it.
Yes, I'm with you there, because I used to be really hard on myself, and if something wasn't quite like sharp, I'd be really annoyed, or if the composition wasn't quite right. But I think nowadays I just care about trying to photograph even like a place to represent how it made me feel.
Yes.
And I do feel it's a good creative challenge as well, rather than just walking around taking like snapshots, which is obviously kind of what we're doing today. But I mean, when you go somewhere with intention, I really like to try and get in a photo how it made me feel.
I think also it depends on how I feel that day, because the photos I take, I kind of also try to translate my emotions into those photos. And I think at the end of the day, if a picture makes you feel something, no matter what it is, for me it's a good photo.
So between us, we cover so many genres, and I think that it'd be really interesting to know, like, kind of what's your favorite genre, or where do you see your photography going?
Yeah. Like I started photographing actually from landscapes and nature, and I really loved it a lot. And I think every time I travel, I try to do that over and over again, because I just feel so calm in nature, and I just want to capture that and remember. But I like people. I think that's why I also do street and portraits, and now weddings too, because I like being with people and sharing those emotions with each other. And I hope to have more weddings in terms of also like getting to know more couples in the future and capturing love stories all around the world, but also street and portraits and friends and family and so on.
Yeah, that's nice. And there's so many like interchangeable like skill sets between all of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's amazing.
Yeah, I think actually, to be honest, that's how I also got to wedding photography, because I was doing so many different kinds of photography before, like landscapes or like nature and street and so on. Because as a wedding photographer, I think you kind of need all of those skills, because there are so many different things happening at the wedding, and you kind of use those skill set a lot.
Yeah, that's really nice. And I don't like to be put in a box either. So like, I used to just shoot landscapes, and people called me a landscape photographer, and then I felt like, is that going to creatively stifle me if I want to go out on the street and take some photos? So yeah, I like to just be known as an outdoor photographer in the UK, because everything I do is like just outside, and I don't want to be put in a specific box about one thing.
I totally understand that. Because I think if you love photography as an art form, it's hard to choose only one direction.
Exactly.
If it makes you happy to take different kind of photography and do street and landscape and people and wherever it is, maybe it's not marketingly smart, people would say, but if it makes you happy and you put your artistic vision into it, why not?
Exactly, yeah. And like, I shoot a lot of like landscape seascapes, but also, as much as I love being in nature, coming into an environment like this and then looking for photos keeps me so like creatively challenged.
Yes.
So I think that's important too.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you.
You can never get bored.
Yeah, no way with photography.
Perfect.
This light suits you very good.
Thank you.
Found some nice windows with some good reflections again. And this is even better than the one before. So I hope you'll get some good shots here.
We both were trying some motion blur. That is such a cool shot.
Oh, I love this. So my last question for you then, Nancho, is about your future and your dreams.
Okay.
So it's a big question really, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, kind of where do you see your photography going? Is there anything you want to achieve from it, or just get out of life with photography being your first and foremost, you know, hobby and profession?
Yeah, to be honest, I'm someone who really lives in a present moment. So it's sometimes hard for me to plan ahead. I'm also a person who likes to just take whatever the universe or whatever you want to call it, like gives you on the way, and I keep my doors open to opportunities, and then I just make decisions on the go. One thing I know for sure is that photography is making me super happy, and as long as it's gonna stay like that, I will try to keep my camera near me and capture all the things and emotions around me. I
think
find
that's
interesting.
a great answer. And I feel very similar about it, because I think as long as you're doing something you're passionate about, what's better in life than that? And Similar to you, I'm open to whatever the universe wants to send my way, and yeah, I think for me, like, a goal is kind of helping others, and I think through
that's a really nice goal.
I love it, and I think through like my photography workshops, especially like the female focused ones, just seeing how that can empower someone to see their own creativity.
That's a beautiful goal.
That they didn't see before. Like, yeah, it's really, really rewarding. So I think that alongside my actual own photography is kind of where I want to be. So yeah, similar to you, I'm open,
really
but there are
nice.
specific things that I love along the way. So
That's really good.
yeah, I want that to grow. So a big thanks to Nancho for coming to join me today and showing me your Berlin. And honestly guys, you need to go and check out Nancho's YouTube and Instagram, and I'm going to link them both in the description below. So I hope you've enjoyed this week's adventure, and thanks for tagging along with us on the streets of Berlin.
Thank you so much.
Thanks guys.